Attention passionate Philadelphia Eagles fans. Latest news. Something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run. A power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Philadelphia Eagles fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Eagles this offseason, you know that even after winning Super Bowl 59, the team didn't just kick back and relax. No, sir. The front office was busy making moves, adding pieces, trying to keep this team at the top of their game. And one of the more intriguing moves involved their recent attempt to bolster the offensive line, a crucial part of their roster that's been a cornerstone of their success in recent years. They traded for Kenyon Green from the Houston Texans, a player with a lot of potential but also a pretty complicated recent history. Green was selected with the 15th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft by Houston, a team that had high hopes for him. The Texans saw him as a future cornerstone of their offensive line, a guy who could develop into a dominant force in their front. But things didn't quite pan out as planned. Green's rookie season was decent, and he showed flashes of talent. But then the injuries started piling up. In particular, a shoulder injury kept him out of the entire 2023 season, which is a huge blow for any player trying to establish themselves in the league. When Green finally got back on the field in 2024, he struggled to find his rhythm, and the Texans, after a tough season, decided to cut their losses. They traded him to the Eagles, a team that's known for having arguably the best offensive line in the league, a unit that's been a big part of their success and their recent Super Bowl victory. Philadelphia saw a lot of promise in Green, a former first-round pick with room to grow, and they decided to take a chance on him, hoping they could develop him behind their veteran linemen and maybe unlock some of that potential that made him a top pick just a couple of years ago. But things took a turn pretty quickly. During the Eagles' preseason opener against the Cincinnati Bengals, Green suffered an injury, a wrist injury, to be specific, that was so severe he had to be carted off the field. And that's where things get tricky. Instant concern started to rise among fans and analysts alike. You see, the Eagles, as I mentioned earlier, have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Their starting five are pretty much locked in, and they've built their success around that unit. But depth is always a concern, especially with Landon Dickerson still recovering from off-season knee surgery. That's why Green was seen as a potential insurance policy, a guy who could step in if needed and give them some extra strength and versatility on the line. Now, with his injury in preseason, the question is, just how serious is it? Will he be able to recover in time for the regular season? Or could this injury force the Eagles' hand, making them consider releasing him altogether? That's the big debate right now, and it's one that's been heating up in NFL circles. In fact, some predictions, like the recent 53-man roster projections by Anthony Miller for Inside the Eagles, don't even have Green making the final cut. And that's surprising, especially considering he was just traded for a few months ago. Generally, teams don't give up on a player so quickly without good reason. But in this case, the injury might have changed the calculus. Miller himself pointed out that Green's injury is a significant disappointment, and it might be one of the reasons the Eagles could decide to move on, especially if other players are healthy and performing well. The Eagles already have a solid offensive line, and with players like Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce, and Jordan Mailata anchoring the unit, they're in a good position. But depth is crucial in the NFL, and losing a young player like Green, especially after a preseason injury, forces the team to weigh their options carefully. Do they keep him around and hope he recovers fully? Or do they cut their losses and move forward with the guys they trust? It's a tough call, and it's one that will play out over the coming weeks. Now, let's take a moment to talk about what this means for the Eagles this season. The team, coming off a Super Bowl victory, is still very much in the championship window. The core, especially on offense, is still intact, and they have the talent to compete at the highest level. But injuries are part of the game, and depth is what often separates good teams from great ones. The Eagles' offensive line, as I mentioned, is arguably the best in the league. They have Lane Johnson on the right side, one of the premier tackles in the NFL, and Jason Kelce still anchoring the middle with his leadership and experience. Jordan Mailata has developed into a formidable presence on the left side. And the interior of the line, with guys like Cam Jurgens and others, is solid. The challenge now is to keep everyone healthy and to find reliable backups. That's where Green was supposed to come in, providing that extra insurance. But with his injury and the uncertainty surrounding his future, the Eagles might have to look elsewhere to fill that role. It's also worth noting that Green's situation is a reflection of a broader trend in the NFL. The league is more competitive than ever, and teams are constantly adjusting their rosters, looking for that perfect mix of youth, talent, and experience. The Eagles, under head coach Nick Sirianni and general manager Howie Roseman, have shown a willingness to take calculated risks and to develop players over time. They've built a roster that emphasizes versatility and depth, and they're not afraid to make tough decisions if it means maintaining their competitive edge. Green's case might be a cautionary tale about the importance of health and consistency, but it also underscores the Eagles' commitment to staying at the top. They're always looking ahead, always planning for the future, and this season will be no different. Looking ahead, the Eagles face a lot of questions. Will Green recover quickly enough to make a push for the roster? Will they find a way to keep him? Or will they release him and look for other options? And how will this injury influence their overall strategy for the season? These are the questions fans are asking right now, and the answers will unfold in the weeks to come. One thing's for sure, the Eagles are still contenders, and their roster, even with the current uncertainty, remains one of the most talented in the league. Their coaching staff will have to be strategic, making tough choices and adjusting their plans based on how Green's recovery progresses. The excitement around this team is palpable. The fans are energized, knowing that their team is still in the mix for another Super Bowl run. And even though this particular situation with Green might be a setback in the short term, it's also a reminder of how competitive and resilient this Eagles team truly is. They've faced adversity before, and they've always managed to come out stronger. So, for the fans of the Eagles, this is just another chapter in their ongoing quest for NFL greatness. They have the talent, the coaching, and the passion to push through. All eyes are on Green now, but the team as a whole remains focused on what they need to do to keep their championship dreams alive. Pause here, just for a second, if you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Philadelphia Eagles news to you. It's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. In conclusion, the Eagles face a pivotal moment with Kenyon Green's injury. Will he bounce back? Will the team decide to give him more time to recover or cut him loose and look for other options? It's a situation that's still unfolding. But one thing is clear. The Eagles are committed to maintaining their elite status and contending at the highest level. Their roster is deep, talented, and driven by a championship mindset. This season, more than ever, every game, every injury report, every roster move will be scrutinized, analyzed, and debated by fans and analysts alike. But if there's one thing we know for sure, it's that the Philadelphia Eagles are still one of the most exciting teams in the league. And their quest for another Super Bowl is far from over. They're built for resilience, for making tough decisions, and for rising to the challenge, no matter what obstacles come their way. So, stay tuned, Eagles fans, because the best is yet to come. And this season promises to be another roller coaster ride full of surprises, drama, and, hopefully, a lot more victories. Thanks for being with us. And remember, we'll keep you updated on every twist and turn in this ongoing story. The Eagles are here to stay, and the journey continues.